Thank you, Mr. Chairman. I appreciate the opportunity to join this subcommittee today for this hearing, and thank each of you for your time and expertise in coming before us. I want to discuss a very specific barrier to economic mobility today, and that is the state laws which allow states to revoke professional or deny professional licenses simply because someone falls behind on their student loan debt. In 19 states across the country, including my own home state of Georgia, there are laws on the books that allow the states to take someone's license if they default on a student loan. As we've talked about it today, occupational licensing has grown to over a quarter of the workforce, and many of these licenses are in fields of healthcare, education, and public safety. I believe that it's completely contradictory to think that someone can have their license revoked and still earn a living and repay their student loans. Today, I joined with my Democratic colleague here in the House, David Cicilline, to introduce the Protecting Jobs and Opportunity for Borrowers Act, as we call it, the Jobs Act. And in beginning 2 years after enactment of this bill, it would prevent states from suspending or revoking licenses, professional teachers, some of the healthcare licenses, solely because they have defaulted on a student loan. And this bill was also supported on the Senate side by Senators Rubio and Elizabeth Warren. So this is a bicameral, bipartisan effort. Mr. Downs, in your testimony, you mentioned that having a professional license is an employment gateway. Based on that statement, would you care to comment on what we're trying to do with this bill, or the importance of removing these barriers?
Yes, sir. And Mr. Schneider's state is one of a few that have recently enacted state-level legislation similar to what you're attempting to do at the federal level. I think we see many state policymakers who are in agreement with bipartisan colleagues that those are the kinds of requirements that need to have the most scrutiny applied to them at the state level. I think that there are many states who have already taken steps to implement that, and there are many more that will be doing so in the next legislative session.
Mr. McNamara, would you care to weigh in on that?
Absolutely. Thank you, sir. And I certainly applaud the legislative effort. I think it's undeniably correct. And I think in a way it goes to the heart of how we should be talking about occupational licensing. Occupational licenses are meant to be a means to protect the public health and safety. When a state licenses a nurse, the state should be concerned with whether or not the nurse is a threat to the public health or safety, whether she's a competent nurse. It shouldn't be turned into a tool of punitive debt collection. That's not what it's for, and allowing occupational licenses to move beyond their core purpose is a threat to, I think, everyone's right to earn an honest living. Yeah.
I agree. I think it is just absolutely ludicrous to expect someone to go get a job to repay a loan when they don't have a license. I mean, how are you, even if it's something like a driver's license, how are you supposed to get to work to earn a living to repay the student loan? So I'm glad to hear that y'all support that. And, look, I've got deep reservations about the federal government owning 92% of all student loans. With that being said, student loans now are currently a federal program, and I do think this is an area where we can be helpful. I look at what we've done with things like the Prosper Act, where we are trying to streamline and simplify the federal loan program, and I think that that's a big step. But I think we've got to move beyond sort of an outdated model of patchwork state laws that really tell so many of our folks, we're not going to even let you have an attempt at a job by denying you this license until you repay the loan. I mean, it's a chicken and an egg kind of thing, and in this particular case, it looks like we're killing the chicken and frying the egg, and nobody's got a chance to win. So I just want to say I think this is an important topic. I think giving people opportunities to take advantage of what is truly a booming economy is important. And again, I want to thank each of you for being here, and Mr. Chairman, I yield back.
I thank